The moment I looked into the mirror, I almost didn't recognize myself. Not because I had become someone else, but because for the first time, I was finally seeing a version of myself that I had hidden for years. And the most surprising part? I wasn't alone. One friend was standing behind me with a makeup brush in her hand, carefully creating a look I never thought I could achieve, while my other friend was holding a dress against me and saying, "Trust me, this is the one." I thought this was just going to be a fun experiment. A simple makeover. A few laughs. A few pictures. But what happened that day completely changed the way I saw myself, my confidence, and the entire journey of expressing who I truly was. For many people, crossdressing is not just about putting on different clothes. It is not just about makeup, fashion, or appearance. It is about discovering a side of yourself that has always been there. It is about creativity. It is about confidence. It is about finally allowing yourself to explore without fear. And today, I want to take you through the entire experience, the nervous beginning, the makeup transformation, choosing the perfect dress, the mistakes we made, the lessons I learned, and the confidence that came from accepting myself. Because maybe you are watching this video and you have always wondered what it would feel like to try a different style. Maybe you have a hidden curiosity. Maybe you have a closet full of clothes you never wear because you are afraid someone might judge you. Maybe you have practiced makeup alone in your room and quickly cleaned everything before anyone noticed. If that sounds like you, stay until the end because this story is not only about a makeover. It is about learning how to feel comfortable in your own skin. The day started with me feeling extremely nervous. My friends had been asking me for weeks to let them help me create a complete look. At first, I kept making excuses. I don't know if I can pull it off. I don't think makeup will suit me. I won't look good in a dress. Those thoughts kept repeating in my mind. And honestly, that is one of the biggest challenges many crossdressers face. Not the clothes, not the makeup, not the styling. The biggest challenge is often the voice inside your own head telling you that you are not allowed to explore. My friend noticed how uncomfortable I was and said something that I will never forget. Stop trying to imagine what other people will see. For one day, just see yourself. That sentence changed everything. She started with the makeup. Before applying anything, she explained something important. Great makeup is not about hiding who you are. It is about enhancing features, experimenting with colors, and creating a style that makes you feel confident. The first lesson I learned was that patience matters. A lot of beginners make the mistake of rushing. They watch a 5-minute transformation online and expect the same result immediately. But every person's face is different. Every person has different features, different skin, and different preferences. My friend started slowly. She explained why each step mattered. First, preparing the skin. Many people ignore this step, but good preparation makes everything easier. Clean skin, moisturizer, and a good base can completely change the final result. Makeup sits better when you take care of the foundation underneath. Then came the foundation. This was the moment when I started feeling the transformation. It was strange because I wasn't becoming a different person. I was simply exploring a different presentation of myself. My friend kept reminding me not to judge the process too quickly. Don't look at one step and decide it looks bad. Wait until the whole picture comes together. That was another powerful lesson. Sometimes we judge ourselves too early. We see an unfinished version and assume the final result will never work. But transformation takes time. The eyebrows were probably the biggest surprise for me. A small change in shape completely changed the expression of my face. My friend explained that eyebrows can affect the entire balance of a look. They frame the eyes and create personality. Then came the eyeshadow. This was where I realized makeup is actually an art form. It is not just about copying someone else's style. It is about finding what matches your own personality. Some people love dramatic looks. Some prefer something soft and natural. Some enjoy glamorous styles. Others enjoy simple elegance. There is no single correct way. That is something every crossdresser should remember. You do not need to become someone from a magazine cover. You do not need to copy another person completely. The goal is not perfection. The goal is confidence. While my friend worked on my eyes, my other friend was already planning the outfit. She brought several dresses and started comparing them. This one is beautiful, but it doesn't match your personality. That caught my attention. Before that moment, I thought choosing a dress was only about size and appearance. But she explained that clothing communicates something. The colors, the style, the shape, and the way you feel wearing it all matter. A dress should not only look good, it should make you feel good. She helped me understand something many beginners struggle with: finding the right style. Some people immediately choose the most dramatic outfit because they think cross-dressing means always going extreme. But style is personal. Maybe your style is elegant. Maybe it is casual. Maybe it is glamorous. Maybe it is cute. Maybe it is completely unique. The important thing is discovering what makes you feel confident. When the makeup was almost finished, my friend handed me a mirror. And that moment was emotional, because I expected to see something fake. Instead, I saw myself. A different style. A different expression. A different energy. But still me. That was the biggest lesson from the entire experience. Cross-dressing is not about losing yourself. It is about understanding yourself. It is about giving yourself permission to explore creativity and confidence. Then came the dress. I remember holding it and feeling nervous again. The same doubts came back. What if it looks wrong? What if I don't look like I imagined? But my friend said something simple. Try before deciding. And that advice applies to so many things in life. We often reject possibilities before even experiencing them. We decide something is impossible before giving ourselves a chance. I changed into the dress, looked in the mirror, and for the first time that day, I smiled naturally. Not a forced smile, not a nervous smile, a real smile. Because I wasn't thinking about whether I looked perfect. I was thinking about how comfortable I felt. And that feeling is something many people searching for their identity or style understand deeply. The confidence does not come from the clothes alone. The confidence comes from accepting yourself while wearing them. The more I looked at myself, the more I realized something important. The biggest transformation that day was not happening on the outside. It was happening in my mind. Before that moment, I always thought confidence was something you either had or you didn't have. I believe some people were naturally confident while others had to stay quiet and invisible. But standing there, wearing a style I never thought I would try, I understood that confidence is something you build. It starts with small steps. It starts with allowing yourself to experiment. It starts with looking at yourself without immediately searching for flaws. And this is something I want every person watching this video to understand, especially anyone who is beginning their cross-dressing journey. Do not compare your first attempt to someone else's 10th year of experience. Many people online show only the final result. They show the perfect makeup, the perfect outfit, the perfect photos. But they don't show the practice, the mistakes, the learning, and the many times things did not go as planned. Every experienced cross-dresser was once a beginner. Every person who now creates amazing looks once struggled with foundation, eyeliner, wigs, clothing choices, and confidence. The difference is they continued learning. After the outfit was chosen, my friends helped me understand another important part of the process: the details. A complete look is not created by one single thing. It is a combination of many small choices. The hairstyle, the accessories, the shoes, the colors, the posture, the way you carry yourself. My friend explained that many beginners focus only on the clothes, but the overall presentation matters more. A simple outfit with confidence can look much better than an expensive outfit worn with insecurity. That lesson stayed with me, because fashion is not only about what people see, it is also about what you feel. When you feel comfortable, it changes the way you move. It changes your expression. It changes your energy. Even something as simple as standing straight and feeling comfortable in your appearance can completely transform the way you present yourself. My friends then started taking pictures. At first, I felt awkward. I didn't know how to pose. I didn't know where to look. I didn't know what expression to make. And honestly, this is another common challenge. Many cross-dressers spend so much time preparing the makeup and outfit that they forget about confidence in front of the camera. But posing is also a skill that can be learned. My friend told me not to force a personality that didn't feel natural. Don't try to become someone else. Just let this version of you exist. That advice made photography much easier. Instead of thinking, how do I look like someone else? I started thinking, how do I show this style in my own way? That small mental shift changed everything. Because the goal is not to create a fake image. The goal is to express yourself. During the photo session, we laughed a lot. There were moments where the makeup wasn't perfect. There were moments where the dress needed adjustment. There were moments where we tried different styles and realized they didn't work. But those moments were actually the most valuable. Because learning happens through experimenting. A lot of people are afraid to start because they think their first attempt must be amazing. But imagine if someone refused to learn a new language because they might pronounce the first words incorrectly. Imagine if someone refused to learn an instrument because the first notes sounded bad. Nobody becomes skilled without being a beginner first. The same thing applies to makeup, fashion, and personal style. Your first look does not need to be perfect. It only needs to be your first step. My friends also taught me something about choosing clothes that many people overlook. The right clothing is not just about fitting your body. It is about understanding your shape and finding styles that make you feel comfortable. Different cuts create different impressions. Some outfits create a more elegant appearance. Some create a playful appearance. Some create a bold appearance. Some create a relaxed appearance. The important thing is exploring until you find what represents you. There is no universal rule saying every crossdresser has to look a certain way. Some people love glamorous dresses. Some love everyday casual fashion. Some enjoy experimenting with different personalities through clothing. Some simply enjoy the feeling of wearing something different. Every journey is personal, and that is what makes it beautiful. While we were getting ready, my friend asked me a question. Why did you really want to try this? I thought about it for a moment. At first, I wanted to say it was because I was curious. But the deeper answer was different. I wanted to know what it felt like to stop hiding. I wanted to experience a side of myself that I had always kept away. I wanted to understand why this expression made me feel so comfortable. And that realization was powerful. Because sometimes we spend years trying to ignore parts of ourselves without asking why they matter. Exploring yourself does not mean you have to immediately define everything. It does not mean you have to follow someone else's path. It simply means you are giving yourself permission to understand yourself better. That day taught me that self-expression comes in many forms. For some people it is art. For some people it is music. For some people it is fashion. For some people it is experimenting with different appearances. The important thing is that it brings confidence, happiness, and a stronger connection with yourself. Later that evening, after everything was done, I sat down and looked through the pictures. And something surprised me. The picture I liked the most was not the one where the makeup looked the most perfect. It was not the one where the outfit looked the most expensive. It was the one where I looked the happiest. That picture reminded me that confidence is the most attractive thing anyone can have. You can have the best clothes. You can have professional makeup. You can have the perfect hairstyle. But if you do not feel comfortable with yourself, none of those things will matter. The real transformation happens when you stop asking, "Do I look good enough?" and start asking, "Do I feel like myself?" That question changes everything. And for anyone watching this who is nervous about starting their own journey, remember this. You are allowed to learn. You are allowed to experiment. You are allowed to make mistakes. You are allowed to discover new sides of yourself. The first step is always the hardest because your mind creates thousands of fears before you even begin. What will people think? What if I make mistakes? What if I don't look good? But most of those fears exist only because you have not given yourself a chance yet. The moment you begin learning, those fears become smaller. You discover what styles work. You discover what colors you enjoy. You discover what makes you feel confident. And slowly you create your own unique style. That is exactly what happened to me. I started with uncertainty. I started with doubts. I started by thinking I would never be comfortable. But with the support of friends, patience, and the willingness to try something new, I discovered a completely different level of confidence. And the most beautiful part was realizing that I did not have to choose between different versions of myself. Every side of me could exist. Every part of my personality could have space. The person in the mirror was not someone new. It was just another part of who I already was. And that is the message I hope everyone watching remembers. Your style belongs to you. Your journey belongs to you. Your confidence belongs to you. Never let fear stop you from discovering yourself. Because sometimes the version of yourself you are most afraid to show is the version that brings you the most happiness. And that day, when one friend did my makeup and the other chose my dress, I didn't just get a makeover. I found confidence I didn't know I had. The next thing I learned from that experience was that the journey does not end when the makeup is removed or when the dress is put back into the closet. The real impact comes from what you carry with you afterward. A lot of people think crossdressing is only about the moment of transformation. They imagine the excitement of changing clothes, applying makeup, and creating a new look. But what many people don't talk about enough is the emotional side of the experience. The feeling of freedom, the feeling of creativity, the feeling of finally allowing yourself to explore without constantly judging yourself. That feeling can stay with you long after the makeup is gone. After my friends left, I kept thinking about everything that happened. I remembered how nervous I was at the beginning. I remembered all the doubts that filled my mind. I remembered how many times I almost said, maybe this is not for me. But I was glad I continued. Because if I had stopped at the first moment of fear, I would have missed one of the most important lessons about confidence. Fear is often loud in the beginning, but curiosity can become stronger when you give it a chance. One thing I want beginners to understand is that nobody starts with complete confidence. Confidence is created through experience. The first time trying makeup might feel uncomfortable. The first time choosing an outfit might feel confusing. The first time looking at yourself in a different style might feel strange. That is completely normal. Your brain is simply adjusting to something new. Whenever we try something outside our usual routine, our mind needs time to accept it. Think about learning any new skill. The first time someone drives a car, they feel nervous. The first time someone speaks a new language, they feel uncomfortable. The first time someone performs on stage, they feel afraid. But with practice, those same things become natural. Creating your own crossdressing style works the same way. Every attempt teaches you something. Maybe you discover that a certain makeup style does not suit you. Maybe you realize a certain type of clothing makes you feel more confident. Maybe you find colors you never expected to like. Every experiment gives you information. There is no failure in trying. There is only learning. My friends also taught me that confidence does not come from trying to impress everyone. This was a very important lesson. Many people become stressed because they focus too much on outside opinions. They think, will people approve? Will people understand? Will people accept this? But if your entire confidence depends on everyone else's reaction, you will always feel uncertain. Real confidence begins when you understand yourself first. Of course, respect and safety matter. Everyone has different situations and different environments. But inside your own personal space, you deserve the freedom to explore your creativity and understand what makes you happy. That day also changed the way I viewed makeup. Before, I thought makeup was simply a way to change appearance. But I realized makeup is actually a form of storytelling. Every choice creates a different feeling. A soft look can create a calm and elegant impression. A bold look can create confidence and energy. A colorful look can show creativity and personality. Makeup is not about becoming someone else. It is about choosing how you want to express yourself in that moment. My friend explained that beginners often make one common mistake. They try to copy someone else exactly. They watch a transformation video online and think, I need to look exactly like that. But everyone has different features, different face shapes, different personalities, different preferences. The best style is not the one that looks identical to another person. The best style is the one that feels natural for you. Maybe your journey starts with a simple look. Maybe you prefer learning one step at a time. Maybe you only experiment occasionally. Maybe you enjoy creating completely different styles. All of these experiences are valid. There is no competition. There is no deadline. There is only your personal journey. Another thing I learned was the importance of preparation. Many beginners focus only on the final appearance, but preparation creates better results. Taking care of your skin, understanding your measurements, choosing comfortable clothing, practicing basic makeup techniques, learning how different styles work. These small details make the experience more enjoyable. The more you understand the process, the more confidence you gain. My friend also encouraged me to keep practicing different looks instead of searching for one perfect appearance, because style is always changing. Even professional makeup artists continue experimenting. Even fashion experts continue discovering new ideas. Your personal style is not something you find once and never change. It grows with you. One week you might love a classic, elegant look. Another week you might want something completely different. That is the fun part. You are allowed to explore. You are allowed to change. You are allowed to surprise yourself. Looking back, the funniest part of the whole experience was how much time I spent worrying before starting. I imagined everything that could go wrong. I imagined looking awkward. I imagined feeling uncomfortable. But most of those fears disappeared within minutes. Because once I stopped fighting the experience and started enjoying it, everything became easier. That is a lesson that applies far beyond crossdressing. Many people miss opportunities because they are afraid of being beginners. They want to be perfect before they start. But perfection comes after practice, not before. You cannot improve a skill you never attempt. You cannot discover a style you never try. You cannot build confidence without giving yourself opportunities to grow. The transformation with my friends was special because they did not treat it like a joke. They treated it like a creative experience. They encouraged me. They helped me learn. They reminded me that confidence is something everyone deserves. And that support made the entire experience meaningful. Sometimes having even one person who accepts your exploration can make a huge difference. Someone who says, "Try it, learn, have fun, be yourself." Those simple words can remove years of insecurity. After that day, I started paying more attention to the details of style. I noticed how different clothing choices affected my mood. I noticed how colors changed the feeling of a look. I noticed how small improvements in technique created better results. But the biggest improvement was not in my appearance. It was in my mindset. I stopped seeing crossdressing as something I needed to hide from myself. I started seeing it as another form of creativity, another way to express personality, another way to understand myself. And that shift made everything different, because when you stop fighting yourself, you create space to grow. You become more comfortable. You become more confident. You become more open to learning. And that is why this experience meant so much to me. It was never just about the makeup. It was never just about the dress. It was about the moment I realized that confidence comes from acceptance. The dress my friend chose was beautiful. The makeup my friend created was amazing. But the most important thing they gave me was not a new appearance. They gave me the courage to see myself differently. The more I thought about that day, the more I realized something that many people overlook. A transformation is not only about changing how others see you. Sometimes it is about changing how you see yourself. For years, many people carry an image of who they are supposed to be. They follow expectations. They follow rules created by society, family, or even their own fears. They convince themselves that certain interests, styles, or forms of expression are not meant for them. But creativity does not work that way. Fashion does not belong to one type of person. Colors do not belong to one type of person. Beauty does not belong to one type of person. Confidence does not belong to one type of person. These things are human experiences. That is what my friends helped me understand. They did not try to turn me into someone else. They did not tell me that I had to follow a specific style. They simply helped me discover what made me feel comfortable. And that is one of the most important lessons for anyone beginning their own journey. Do not start by asking, "How can I look like someone else?" Start by asking, "What makes me feel confident?" That question changes the entire experience, because when you focus only on copying others, you create pressure. You start comparing your face, your body, your makeup skills, your clothing choices. You start believing you are not good enough because you do not look exactly like someone online. But comparison can destroy the joy of learning. The truth is, every person has something unique. Your features are different. Your personality is different. Your style will be different. And that difference is what makes your journey special. After that day, I started experimenting more. Not because I wanted to become someone else, but because I wanted to understand what styles connected with me. I tried different makeup approaches. Sometimes the result was amazing. Sometimes it was completely different from what I expected. Sometimes I laughed at my own mistakes. But every attempt taught me something new. One day I realized that the mistakes were actually some of the best memories. The eyeliner that did not look right. The outfit that seemed perfect but felt uncomfortable. The hairstyle that looked good online but did not match my personality. Those moments were not failures. They were lessons. And every lesson brought me closer to understanding my own style. Another important thing my friends taught me was patience. Many beginners expect instant transformation. They see a video where someone creates a beautiful look in minutes and think they should achieve the same result immediately. But behind every confident person is a story of practice. Nobody wakes up knowing exactly how to apply makeup. Nobody automatically understands fashion. Nobody instantly knows what works for them. It takes time. The first goal should not be perfection. The first goal should be comfort. When you feel comfortable, improvement becomes easier. When you enjoy the process, learning becomes exciting. When you stop judging yourself, creativity starts flowing. One thing that surprised me was how much posture affected the final appearance. Before that day, I thought the outfit was responsible for the confidence. But I learned the opposite. The confidence changes the way the outfit looks. The same clothes can create completely different impressions depending on the person wearing them. Someone who feels uncomfortable may constantly adjust their clothes, avoid eye contact, and appear nervous. Someone who feels confident naturally presents themselves differently. Their movements become relaxed. Their expression becomes natural. Their energy changes. That is why confidence is the most powerful part of any look. Clothing can support confidence. Makeup can support confidence. Accessories can support confidence. But the foundation is always how you feel inside. My friends also taught me that there is no need to rush the journey. Some people discover their style quickly. Others take years. Some people enjoy experimenting often. Others enjoy keeping it private. Some people love dramatic transformations. Others prefer subtle changes. All of these experiences are completely different, and that is okay. Your journey does not have to look like anyone else's. The internet can be inspiring, but sometimes it can also create unrealistic expectations. You might see someone with professional lighting, professional makeup, expensive clothes, and years of experience. Then you compare that to your first attempt. That comparison is unfair. A better comparison is with yourself yesterday. Are you learning? Are you becoming more comfortable? Are you understanding yourself better? That is real progress. The day after my makeover, I noticed something interesting. I felt more confident even in my everyday life. Not because I was wearing the same outfit, not because I was using the same makeup, but because I had learned something about myself. I had proven that I could step outside my comfort zone. I had proven that fear did not control me. And that confidence started affecting other parts of my life. Sometimes one small personal breakthrough can create a bigger change than we expect. That is why experiences like this matter. They are not only about appearance. They are about personal growth. They are about courage. They are about giving yourself permission to explore. Another thing I want to share is the importance of choosing supportive people around you. My friends made the experience special because they created a safe and positive environment. They did not judge. They did not laugh in a harmful way. They encouraged creativity. They focused on helping me feel comfortable. That kind of support can make a huge difference. If you are exploring your own style, surrounding yourself with positive influences can help you feel more confident. Learning from experienced people can also help. Whether it is makeup tutorials, fashion advice, or simply conversations with people who understand the experience, knowledge makes the journey easier. But always remember one thing. Advice is helpful. Inspiration is helpful. Learning is helpful. But your own comfort should always come first. You do not have to follow every trend. You do not have to use every technique. You do not have to create a style that does not feel like you. The best transformation is the one where you still recognize yourself. That was the biggest surprise from my experience. I expected to see a completely different person. Instead, I saw another side of myself. a side that was creative, a side that was confident, a side that enjoyed experimenting. And maybe that is the reason so many people connect with crossdressing. Because deep down, it is not only about clothing. It is about expression. It is about discovering different parts of your personality. It is about feeling free to explore. And sometimes, the person who understands you best is the person you become when you stop being afraid. The biggest lesson I carried from that experience was that confidence is not something you find after you become perfect. Confidence is something you build while you are learning. A lot of people wait for the perfect moment. They think, when I know more about makeup, then I will try. When I lose weight, then I will wear that outfit. When I become better at styling, then I will feel confident. But the truth is, confidence does not arrive first. The action comes first. The experience comes first. The learning comes first. And confidence slowly follows. That day taught me that waiting for perfection can keep you trapped forever. Sometimes you have to give yourself permission to be a beginner. A beginner who makes mistakes. A beginner who experiments. A beginner who does not know everything yet. Because every expert was once exactly there. When my friends helped me create that look, they were not just teaching me makeup techniques or fashion choices. They were teaching me how to trust myself. And that is something every person needs, no matter what style they choose. Trusting yourself means allowing yourself to explore without immediately criticizing every detail. It means looking at your progress instead of only looking at what needs improvement. It means celebrating small victories. Maybe your first victory is simply trying something new. Maybe your next victory is learning a makeup technique. Maybe another victory is finding a style that feels comfortable. Every small step matters. The journey becomes meaningful because of those moments. Another thing I learned was that clothing should be an experience, not a test. Many beginners approach fashion like they are trying to pass an exam. They think there is a right answer, a correct outfit, a perfect style. But fashion is personal. The same dress can create different feelings for different people. One person may feel elegant. Another person may feel playful. Another person may feel powerful. The important thing is the connection between you and the style. The best outfit is not always the most expensive one. It is the one that makes you stand differently. The one that makes you smile when you see yourself. The one that makes you think, this feels right. My friends also showed me how important small details are. Sometimes a tiny change can completely improve a look. Finding the right hairstyle, adjusting the fit of clothing, choosing accessories that match the personality, learning where to apply makeup and where not to. These details create balance. But again, the goal is not to hide yourself. The goal is to highlight the features you already have. One mistake many people make when starting is believing they need to completely transform every part of themselves. They think they need to change everything. But a successful look is often about understanding what already works. Your natural features are not a problem to solve. They are the foundation you build on. That mindset made me much more comfortable. Instead of fighting against myself, I started working with myself. And that changed the entire experience. I also discovered that confidence grows when you stop treating your interests as something negative. Many people spend years feeling guilty for enjoying certain styles or forms of expression. They ask themselves why they like something. They wonder if they are allowed to enjoy it. But creativity does not need permission. Personal expression does not need approval from everyone. As long as you are being respectful, safe, and true to yourself, exploring your style can be a positive experience. The world is full of different people with different interests. That diversity is what makes life interesting. Imagine if everyone dressed exactly the same, had the same personality, liked the same things. Life would be incredibly boring. The beauty of human beings is that everyone has their own story, and every person has different ways of expressing themselves. That day with my friends became a memory because it represented something bigger. It represented a moment where I stopped questioning myself and started understanding myself. It represented a moment where curiosity became stronger than fear. It represented a moment where I realized that confidence was already inside me. I just needed to give it space. Looking back, I think the most powerful part was not the final appearance. It was the journey, the conversations, the laughter, the mistakes, the encouragement, the feeling of being supported. Those moments created the real transformation. And that is something I hope every viewer remembers. If you are starting your own journey, do not focus only on the final picture. Enjoy the process. Enjoy learning. Enjoy discovering what works for you. The process itself is where the confidence is created. Try different styles. Experiment with different looks. Learn from mistakes. Take your time. And most importantly, be kind to yourself. The way you speak to yourself matters. If you constantly criticize yourself, every step becomes difficult. But if you encourage yourself, every step becomes an opportunity. Imagine talking to yourself the same way you would talk to a close friend. Would you tell your friend they should never try? Would you tell your friend they are not allowed to learn? Would you tell your friend one mistake means they should quit? Of course not. So give yourself the same kindness. You deserve patience while you grow. One of the most surprising things after sharing this experience with my friends was realizing how many people quietly feel the same way. Many people have questions about style. Many people want to learn. Many people want to experiment, but they are afraid to start because they think they are the only ones. The truth is, everyone has moments where they question themselves. Everyone has moments where they feel unsure. The difference is whether you allow those feelings to stop you or whether you continue learning. And that is why stories like this matter. Because sometimes seeing someone else try something new gives another person the courage to try too. Maybe someone watching this video has been hiding a part of their creativity for years. Maybe someone has always wanted to experiment with makeup. Maybe someone has always wanted to explore fashion but never had the confidence. If that is you, remember this. You do not have to become someone else. You only have to discover more about yourself. Your journey does not need to match anyone else's. Your style does not need to match anyone else's. Your timeline does not need to match anyone else's. The only person you are competing with is the person you were yesterday. Every step forward is progress. Every lesson is valuable. Every attempt teaches you something. And that is what made the experience with my friends so unforgettable. One friend did my makeup. The other chose my dress. But together, they helped me discover something much more important. They helped me discover confidence. And that confidence was something I never expected to find from a simple makeover day. At the beginning, I thought the biggest challenge would be learning the technical parts. How to apply makeup. How to choose the right outfit. How to create a complete look. But I discovered that the hardest part was not learning the techniques. The hardest part was giving myself permission to try. Because before anyone else can accept your style, you have to first accept your own curiosity. Before anyone else can see your confidence, you have to first believe you deserve to feel confident. That was the real transformation. Not the makeup, not the dress, not the photos. The real transformation was the moment I stopped seeing myself through fear and started seeing myself through possibility. And I think that is something many people can relate to, even outside of crossdressing. Everyone has a side of themselves they hesitate to show. Everyone has dreams, interests, or ideas they sometimes hide because they are worried about judgment. But life becomes much more meaningful when you allow yourself to explore. That does not mean you have to change everything about yourself. It does not mean you have to follow a certain path. It simply means you give yourself the freedom to learn who you are. The experience also taught me that confidence is built through small moments. The first time trying something new, the first time looking in the mirror and smiling, the first time choosing a style because you like it, not because you think others will approve. The first time realizing that your happiness matters. Those moments may seem small, but they create something powerful over time. They create self-respect. They create comfort. They create confidence. After that day, I started noticing something different about myself. I became less afraid of experimenting. I became more open to learning. I became more comfortable accepting different parts of my personality. And that change was not because of a dress or makeup. It happened because I learned something important. I learned that I was allowed to explore. I was allowed to create. I was allowed to enjoy something that made me feel confident. That lesson is something I wish more people understood. Your interests do not make you less of who you are. Your creativity does not make you less authentic. Your desire to express yourself does not take anything away from you. In fact, Understanding yourself often makes you stronger. Because when you know yourself, you stop depending completely on other people's opinions. You become more comfortable making your own choices. You become more confident in your identity. You become more accepting of others too. And that is one of the beautiful things about personal expression. When you learn to accept yourself, you often become better at accepting the uniqueness of other people. You realize everyone has their own story. Everyone has their own journey. Everyone has things they're learning about themselves. That day with my friends was a reminder that kindness and support can change someone's experience completely. A simple encouraging sentence can mean a lot. A friend saying, "You can try." A friend saying, "This looks good." A friend saying, "Do not worry about being perfect." Those small moments can create memories that last forever. So if you have someone in your life who is exploring their style, support them with kindness. If you are the person exploring, remember to support yourself too. Be patient with your progress. Celebrate your improvements. Allow yourself to learn. The journey becomes much easier when you stop fighting against yourself. Another thing I learned was that confidence does not mean never feeling nervous. Even after gaining experience, there can still be moments of uncertainty. There can still be moments where you wonder if something will work. But confidence means moving forward even when those feelings exist. It means saying, "I can learn." It means saying, "I can improve." It means saying, "I can try." That mindset is powerful because the people who grow are not always the people who have no fear. They are the people who continue despite fear. And that is exactly what happened to me. I was nervous. I was unsure. I had doubts. But I tried. And because I tried, I discovered something new about myself. That is why I encourage anyone watching this to take small steps toward the things that interest you. You do not have to rush. You do not have to prove anything. You do not have to become someone else overnight. Just start learning. Start exploring. Start understanding what makes you happy. Maybe your first attempt will not be perfect. That is okay. Maybe your style will change many times. That is okay. Maybe you will discover things about yourself you never expected. That is actually the best part. Life is a journey of discovery, and every experience teaches you something. When I think back to that moment when my friend held the makeup brush and my other friend held the dress, I realize that moment was about much more than appearance. It was about friendship. It was about trust. It was about creativity. It was about confidence. It was about a person giving themselves permission to step outside fear for a little while. And sometimes that is all someone needs. One opportunity. One supportive person. One moment of courage. Because one small decision can create a completely different relationship with yourself. The mirror that day did not show a perfect person. It showed a person who was learning, a person who was experimenting, a person who was becoming more comfortable. And honestly, that was better than perfection. Because perfection is something we chase forever. But confidence is something we can build today. So if you are watching this and thinking about starting your own journey, remember the lessons from this story. Do not rush. Learn the basics. Experiment with different styles. Find what makes you comfortable. Be patient with yourself. Do not compare your beginning to someone else's experience. And most importantly, enjoy the process. Because the process is where the memories are created. The process is where the confidence grows. The process is where you discover more about yourself. One friend did my makeup. The other chose my dress. But the biggest thing they gave me was not a new look. They gave me a new perspective. They reminded me that confidence was never about becoming someone else. Confidence was about finally allowing myself to be fully seen. And maybe that is the most important lesson of all. The person you are searching for is not someone you have to create from nothing. Sometimes that person has been there all along. You just have to give yourself permission to discover them.